Every day, millions of people finish a bottle of water without giving it a second thought. One final sip, a quick toss, and it's gone. Or at least that's what most of us believe. A few seconds later, that bottle lands inside a recycling bin. Most people think the story ends there. In reality, that's where the real journey begins. What really happens after your plastic bottle disappears from sight? Does it become another bottle? Does it end up in a landfill? Or does it become a journey through one of the most advanced recycling systems ever built?
Tell me.
Around the world, billions of plastic bottles are used every year. Each one has the potential to become something new, but only if it successfully makes it through a long and surprisingly complex process. Today, we're going to follow one ordinary plastic bottle from the moment you throw it away to wherever its journey truly ends. Along the way, you'll discover why recycling is far more complicated and far more fascinating than most people realize. As the day comes to an end, the recycling bin slowly fills with bottles, cans, paper, and cardboard. By morning, every item inside is waiting for the same thing, a truck that will decide where its journey goes next. Before sunrise in many cities, recycling trucks begin their daily routes. Their job isn't to recycle the materials. Their first responsibility is simply to collect them and transport them to a sorting facility. In just a few seconds, hundreds of bottles are lifted into the truck. From the outside, the process looks simple. But inside that truck, thousands of different materials are mixed together, beginning a journey that will soon separate the valuable from the worthless. Imagine being that bottle, surrounded by thousands of others, crushed together during transport, still carrying no guarantee that you'll ever become something new again. Every recycling truck eventually reaches a place most people never see, a materials recovery facility. This is where the real decisions begin. Some bottles will continue their journey. Others won't make it any further. Every day, thousands of tons of recyclable materials arrive at facilities like this. Plastic bottles, cardboard, aluminum cans, glass, and paper, all mixed together. Before anything can be recycled, every single item must be identified, separated, and sorted with remarkable precision. The journey continues on miles of conveyor belts. Every bottle, every can, and every piece of cardboard enters a carefully designed system where machines and people work together to separate one material from another. Despite all the advanced technology, people still play an important role. Workers remove items that don't belong, helping protect the equipment and improve the quality of the recycled materials. Then comes one of the most impressive parts of the entire process. Optical scanners identify different types of materials in a fraction of a second. As each item passes beneath them, powerful sensors determine exactly what it is. A split second later, powerful bursts of compressed air push selected bottles into a separate stream. It happens so quickly that the human eye can barely follow it. Thousands of decisions are made every minute, transforming chaos into carefully sorted materials ready for recycling. Once the sorting process separates the plastic stream, the bottles that meet the facility's requirements move toward the next stage. Our bottle has made it through its first major test, but it still isn't ready to become something new. Before the bottles can be processed, unwanted material has to be removed. Labels, closures, and other components may be separated during different stages of the operation, depending on how the recycling facility is designed. Then the bottles enter a machine that changes their identity completely. Inside an industrial granulator, rotating cutting equipment breaks the bottles down into much smaller pieces. What comes out the other side is no longer a bottle. The plastic has been reduced to small PET flakes, an entirely different form of the same material. But smaller doesn't mean cleaner. The flakes still need to be washed and processed to remove dirt, residues, and other unwanted material. Cleanliness matters because the quality of the recycled plastic depends heavily on what remains in the material.
Once the flakes have been washed, they need to be separated from the water and dried. What looks like a pile of ordinary plastic pieces is now becoming a valuable manufacturing material. In some recycling operations, the clean material is then melted and formed into long strands before being cut into small uniform pellets. The bottle has now changed form once again. These small pieces are recycled PET pellets. They can become feedstock for manufacturing, depending on their quality and what the buyer intends to make. And this is where the story branches. Recycled PET doesn't have only one destination. Depending on its quality, processing, and market demand, it can be turned into fibers, packaging, films, or new plastic containers. One major destination is polyester fiber. Recycled PET can be processed into fibers used in textiles and other products, but high-quality recycled PET can also return to packaging. With the appropriate processing and regulatory requirements, recycled PET can be used in food contact applications. But our bottle's journey is only one possible outcome. Not every bottle that enters a recycling system becomes a new bottle, or even makes it through the entire process. Contamination can complicate the process. Materials that don't belong in a particular recycling stream can interfere with sorting and processing, while some items simply aren't accepted by a given local program. And the scale of the challenge is bigger than one bottle. In the United States, EPA's latest published national material-specific data currently reports a 29.1% recycling rate for PET bottles and jars. But that figure is from 2018, the latest year in that dataset. Recycling isn't magic. A recycling symbol on a bottle doesn't guarantee that the bottle will be collected, sorted, processed, and turned into another product. The system has to work at every stage. But when the system does work, something remarkable happens. A material that was moments away from becoming waste can become feedstock for another manufacturing process and eventually appear in another product. And somewhere along that chain, another bottle may eventually appear. New packaging, new product, a familiar material taking on a different life.
And that's the part most of us never see. The journey doesn't begin at the recycling plant. It begins the moment someone decides what to do with an empty bottle. And it doesn't end when that bottle is processed. It ends much later, when the material either finds another use or leaves the recycling system altogether. The next time you finish a bottle and drop it into a recycling bin, remember what happens after the lid closes. There is a network of trucks, workers, conveyors, scanners, machines, water, heat, and manufacturers standing between that bottle and its possible second life. Recycling is not a single action. It's a chain, and every link matters. Next time, we'll follow something else most people never think about after they throw it away.